Hello all. This is a video on narcissism. Narcissism is characterized by ego inflation and devaluation. This is an inflation of the self, most often, and a devaluation of others, most often. However, there is occasional idealizations of others by narcissists, and they do this when others are valuing them. So then they can see themselves as being valued by someone who is ideal. That's the best hit for their self-esteem. Most of the time, though, it's a devaluation of others. It's a devaluation of others and their things through objectification. So they objectify you, not as no longer consider you a subject deserving of fundamental respect, but see you instead as an object to be used and often discarded. So black and white thinking is characteristic of narcissism. And this black and white thinking is seeing themselves and others as terrible or ideal. They're incapable of seeing others as whole objects or non-dual entities, as primarily deserving of fundamental respect. They don't see others as both good and bad at the same time, therefore deserving of fundamental respect, like they fundamentally respect themselves, which is both good and bad at the same time. They neither should view themselves nor others as both good and bad at the same time. And they maintain an idealized sense of self through the devaluation of others. So the cause of narcissism is a stagnation and what's called the rapprochement crisis, which is a phase of the rapprochement phase of a child's development. It occurs between the months of 15 and 20. During this rapprochement crisis, the self and other are viewed as either all good or all bad, as ideal or terrible. Now, this has a lot to do with breastfeeding. So the idealized mother is seen as such when she is rewarding the baby for being hungry by feeding the baby at the breast. However, the mother can be viewed as terrible when the child is curious and is out seeking stimulation in its environment and is not hungry, but the mother misperceives the child as being hungry because the mother is not empathically attuned to the child. So then the mother smothers the child at her breast when the child is not hungry but is interested in gratifying its curiosity. So there's a fundamental error in empathic mirroring and a fundamental error in empathy from the primary caregivers. The child's needs, therefore, of having its feelings, its thoughts, and its developing belief system are failed time and time again. In fact, the child often feels worthless because here it is wanting to explore its environment and it's being smothered at the breast. It experiences itself as worthless and deserving of, well, death. And because this is intolerable for the ego, it's an absolutely intolerable situation for the ego. The ego must split off the experiences of others as terrible, and it must split off the experience of the self in particular as terrible. It may well preserve some of its ability to determine others as horrible or terrible, but it cannot. It represses all the experiences in which it has viewed itself as terrible. So if you confront a narcissist, be assured that you're being devalued. They cannot see themselves as deserving of this confrontation because they don't see themselves as bad at all. They see themselves as ideal. They don't see themselves as whole objects, deserving of both rewards and punishments. They see themselves as ideal. So it's actually impossible for the narcissist to experience themselves as terrible or deserving of punishment. And so you become terrible. You become entirely bad. And then you're objectified and devalued and usually discarded. Could be temporary discarding, or it could be a permanent discarding. But usually they want to keep you around to use you. So that's part one. And part two, I'm going to discuss the treatment of narcissism. And I'll discuss subtle and gross narcissism as discovered through my Buddhist practices. Hope you're all doing really well. Bye for now.